Tom, why don't you come up here and talk a little bit? Say how happy you are. You've got about 30 seconds. No, you
Okay, I'm real happy. How's that?
It went on the air in 1988, February 28th, and I was kind of hoping to get on the air at February 29th because it was a leap year, but I was outvoted, so I thought that would have been cool. We started in a free university, and it's still in existence today. Anybody that wants to can do a course, you know, whether it's basket weaving or tattooing or how to sue your spouse. And there was a book we got called
Sex and Broadcasting. There was very little sex in the book and lots of stuff about broadcasting. It had just, strange Victorian clip art stuck on pages, and they talked about community radio, early fundraising, and you can pay this bill and you can blow off the telephone company.
It was kind of like a guidebook on how to put a community radio station on the air. We found out very quickly that you have to have a spot on the dial.
There's only so much space on that dial, and we needed a segment.
There was no channel available.
People found out that we weren't going right on the air. They were, oh, I don't want to do this. And I'm like, no, this is important.
The enthusiastic class from about 30 people dwindled down to 20, then 10.
There must have been maybe 8 people in the class.
Then 5.
And without Woody, we never would have found that segment. Tom's dad was just instrumental in doing the whole thing. We wouldn't have been here for 30 years without Woody Crane, so he was a very important part of the early history of the station.
My dad had retired. He was the chief engineer of WGN-TV in Chicago, and he started working on our engineering for free because he was, he knew this stuff. We had a couple little tiny 10-watt stations here in Kansas City, KGSP in Parkville, and KTSR, which was a Nazarene church. It was only on for half the day, and their radio tower was on a telephone pole. And we actually said, we are going to try and put the 100,000-watt station on the air, and we'd be willing to cooperate with you if you want to share the frequency. And they kind of looked at us like we were crazy.
We were heading to the unknown, and we weren't sure if anything was going to happen, really.
The FCC says either you have to move these 10-watt stations to the commercial end of the band or go up in power. That was our opening. Probably the only time in history that a community radio station knocked a religious station off the air.
We're here at the KKFI tower, 100,000 watts of pure power. In 1985, the FCC approved the construction of a 100,000 watt FM station with the call letters KKFI 90.1 on the dial.
More people got involved again because it looked like there was hope. Meanwhile, we had to have the money to put a radio station on the air.
This tower was not built in a day. It takes a lot of effort and energy and money. Holy guacamole, it takes a lot of money. A lot of money.
We're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Would you like to win $5? $25? $100?
The bingo games were sort of legendary.
We started pulling in from $3,000 to $4,000 a week. It was like a sedated hell.
Back in the days when you could smoke anywhere you wanted to, and I'm sure we're all going to get lung cancer someday from the bingo games, but it was great.
The early days were pretty tumultuous. I'm sure you'll talk to people that will tell you what that was like. It was interesting.
We could not agree on what call letters to call it.
No, we don't want to do that. Oh, yeah, we do want to do that. Or, no, we're not doing that because.
My idea was KARP, carp, which is a mid-coast, kind of fish. But I was defeated on that.
KKFI is like one big family. We've had our share of joys and sorrows and loss and obstacles.
The FCC ultimately assigned us the call letters, which we didn't choose, but they assigned us KKFI. About 2 weeks before our deadline to get the final application into the FCC, we had to have a tower site. We go to the zoning hearing, and a bunch of neighbors showed up and complained that we were going to hurt their property values. They were across the street from the junkyard. They turned down our application. We could not put our tower there. This is like a week or two before the deadline. You know, there were so many things that could have doomed this station, and this was one of them. We found a little spot most famous for strip clubs and pornographic video stores. It sailed through. We got it through at the last minute. This is the ruins of the former studio.
The station actually started in Tom Crane's basement.
Oh, this is for WGN. People would go down in the basement here 24 hours a day and record their shows ahead of time. Seems to have developed some leaks in the last 30 years.
They would tape the show, grab the tapes, run out to the station.
I couldn't tell the neighbors what was going on because, you know, I'm not sure the zoning would have allowed. Who knows? It's a nonprofit.
There must be some sort of mysterious deals going on here, but it was just a radio station.
Are we ready, Kevin? Is the radio turned up? Well, we haven't got a signal yet. It's 5 minutes again, folks. 5.
It still blows my mind. I've been working here 4 years and I can't really wrap my head around how many hours have been dedicated to KKFI.
We really are run and owned by volunteers, and there's no one person who can say they own this.
So my show is Native Spirit, and it represents the Native American community here, not just traditional music, the usual powwow type music or flute music. I do contemporary music as well.
I'm Fran Stanton, aka Franny G.
I'm Casey Roush. I am the producer and co-host of River Trade Radio.
We can literally come in and invite whatever guests we want to invite and play whatever music we want to play, and it's not dictated by anyone else except for our own inspiration.
Resisting the takeover of all the media by a few corporations. This is one of the few voices that's still out there. Maybe if you can listen to some music from another culture or get information from another culture, this might be one of the steps in world peace.
Here's to 30 more years of 90.1 FM KKFI, Kansas City Community Radio. Cheers!
Muchas gracias. Thank you so much.
We got everything together and we literally moved the station. We got a crane and I had to paint the dish brown.
The old building at KKFI, boy, that's a fun memory. Walking up those steep stairs, pregnant, carrying my guitar. I could not see my toes.
We were getting people calling us from the precincts. Yeah, no, don't believe what they said on Channel 5. It's like, I'm here and this is what's really happening. You know, and we'd put them on the air.
I don't really have any fond memories of working.
It's been a whirlwind.
Glad you chose KKFI, Kansas City, 90.1 Community Radio as your distraction for this evening.